If you like queer punk rock music, which if you're watching this video, you probably do, then you should come to my show tonight. My band Turf Stomp is playing at the Mad Cat and Company bar in Brewer, Maine this night. Tonight. Entry fees is $10 and all of the proceeds are going to Maine Transnet. So that's pretty awesome because not only do you get to listen to punk music, but you also are supporting a good cause. In addition, this punk show is also a drag event. We have such performers as Roxy Cass, Serene Serenity, Lucy Ho, Cutie Claus, and Christina Fina. And some of the other bands besides my band Turf Stomp are Meat Morp, Be Free Stands, Snuckle Struggle, and Marianne Toilet Up the Runs as our headlining performance. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to miss this. Link in the description below for the event page, and without any further ado, on to the video. How are y'all doing today? Me? I'm thrilled because this is my favorite time of the year. It's very, very humid. That's not good because it's humid in here. You might see me sweat in this video, and if that happens, I'm not sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm already starting to sweat. Yes, I am sweating. It is really hot. You see this? It is hot. It is like June right now. Don't at me. Oh my gosh. Pride is not just a month-long holiday, it's a time where we remember the people who fought before us for our ability to be visible, for our ability to be free, and for our ability to express our identities. People like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera fought for us to be able to be visible, and we must always remind ourselves that that fight is not over. Not until homophobia, transphobia, patriarchy, white supremacy, capitalism is abolished. The revolution is only just beginning. But for such a revolutionary occasion comes a revolutionary time for revolutionary means. And that means a revolutionary soundtrack. And I can't think of anything more revolutionary than queer music and punk music than queer punk music. And as a queer punk myself, why don't we dedicate this entire month to queer punk music? Every Saturday of this month, I'm going to be giving you five punk bands that are queer, trans, or involved in queer and trans organizing, or involved in the queer and trans community. If you like me covering it this year, I will try my best to cover it next year too. And lastly, no debate on what's considered punk or not punk, okay? Like, it's not like Nickelback is on the list. The first band that I want to cover is Pansy Division. Pansy Division is a band that is still active today. They are a queer punk band that formed in 1991, the year that I was born. But what's really cool about this particular band is that they would sign to Lookout Records in 1993, and they would eventually go on to tour with Green Day. And it would later become one of the most recognized and most successful queer punk bands in the queer community. So on top of being signed to Lookout Records, they would get signed by Alternative Tentacles Records in 2001, which is Jello Biafra's record label, for those who don't know. Sean Giannoli, one of the co-founders of Pansy Division, worked on a zine in the 1970s called Hoopla, predominantly focused on covering rock and punk trends at the time. That's pretty punk rock in and of itself. But the other co-founder, Chris Freeman, would later join a band of musicians who were previously called the Gay Gays, a tribute to the Go-Go's, and they would eventually form an AC/DC cover band that was called, you guessed it, Gay-C-D-C. I don't know, y'all, but that's pretty fucking gay, and that's pretty fucking awesome. Next, you're gonna tell me that there's a Black Flag cover band called Black Oh wait!
The band voted most likely to give you a rub and a tug in the Greyhound Terminal toilet. Black.
My personal favorite Pansy Division songs are Groovy Underwear and Anonymous.
Pansy Division is the kind of band that you would find in a hole-in-the-wall bar at 3 a.m. The party is a bit slow, but the vibe is nice and calm, all while this very talented band are pouring their hearts out. In my opinion, this is the kind of band that you want to have a very fruity glass of wine with, and just soak in the aura. I say if you're new to queercore music or like broader queer punk music, give Pansy Division a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Next we have Audrey Plath, a friend of the channel actually.
Audrey Plath is a trans woman and anarchist folk punk singer-songwriter. A lot of her songs are raw and recorded using lo-fi gear, but that's also part of the charm of recording folk punk in general, not exclusive to Audrey Plath. Like, look at this album cover of Get Dangerous. It's messy, distorted, heavily contrasted, and appears to be broken, but it's juxtaposing with the dandelions and the triangle in the backdrop, probably representing beauty along with chaos and marginalization.
And personally, I think that describes her music quite well.
Despite Audrey Plath being an anarchist and a communist and generally an anti-fascist, she is rather critical of anarchist and communist circles. However, all of these criticisms are justified, like calling out the hypocrisy of being a leftist purely for aesthetics, or calling out a certain someone who has been repeatedly accused of being an abuser. A lot of her songs are also about living life as a trans woman, songs about dysphoria, masking, and personal growth. An honorable mention recommendation that I want to make would be the spoken word track of Trans Pride, because it really gives you the perspective of the joy that she has being her true self from transitioning and truly knowing her place in the world. This is something that a lot of trans people, including myself, can deeply relate to.
Of her music, I would recommend you give Fuck Dysphoria and Fuck Star a listen to get an idea of to what her music is like.
And do me a favor, if you do check out her music and you happen to meet her at a show or anything like that, tell her Skylar sent you. Much love.
The next band on the list is called TUCK. It's an acronym that I actually went out of my way to get the permission of the band to tell you all what the acronym means, because they never really announced what the acronym stood for. So the acronym stands for Trans United Cis Killers. Now, if that's not badass, I don't know what is. TUCK describes themselves as music by queers for queers with love. That makes them perfect for this video.
TUCK is a fast-paced, crusty, hardcore punk band from the 805 region, which, if you don't know what that means, it's Kern County. It's north of Los Angeles.
Yeah. That means they're traveling 300 miles a round trip for a show in downtown Los Angeles. Help them with gas money, y'all.
Yeah, this is a new band that literally formed earlier this year. Their first show was on May 19th in Simi Valley, and another right after that was on May 25th in Atascadero. So they're coming in with a bang, y'all. It is this very fast-paced, very thrashy, very hardcore, very queercore noise that makes you want to start a mosh pit at your rainbow capitalist Target store. I apologize, that did not age well.
My favorite songs of theirs is Butt Stuff and Systemic Violence. And in case you're wondering, since they're playing a lot of shows right now, their next show is June 23rd in their hometown of Ventura. So get on that. That's literally Sonic the Hedgehog's birthday. I mean, spend it going to a punk show.
I'm about to open up this pit.
That's the most punk thing you could do, especially during Pride Month. This next band, I am absolutely thrilled to tell you about, because while I was researching this video, I discovered this band. I could not stop listening to them. Buy this book, okay? Because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from y'all, okay? Like Suicide Machine's cover of Minor Threat, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that ska is not punk. I present to you Los Ska-Guerreros.
This is a ska band from McAllen, Texas, and it's like a full-piece ska band. Honestly, a lot of their music are like total earworms. This is probably going to be a controversial opinion of mine, but normally I don't really like brass instruments in ska music, but this is one of the few bands where not only do I not mind it, but I think they nail the sound, like as if it would be incomplete without the brass section.
One of the songs I would recommend is Cunt Love, because it really does have a catchy brass section, and it really is one of those songs you want to put on a repeat. It's just, oh, so good.
This might be just a hunch, but the more I listen to this band, the more that I hear influences of No Doubt. Like, at some point in Cunt Love, it feels like they're about to start singing, I thought I knew you, whoa, I thought I knew you, you know what I mean?
Another song I would recommend is Two Tales of the Working Class, which is also really good because it's an important segue for me to talk about their political activism.
Whether it be raising money for Black trans protester emergency funds with the sales of their own music, or organizing with the pro-choice movement in Texas, which is a really fierce battleground for abortion rights, especially right now, this band is very inspirational and definitely have their skin in the game.
Yeah, you know, after this video, I'm gonna go and like totally put their music on repeat again because they're just so good. And I'm not really entirely sure if like the band is on hiatus or something, but at the same time, they're like a really big band, like in terms of members. There's a lot of members in the band, and that's hard to like, you know, keep together, especially if you're like underground. And as their Instagram account put it, it's complicated. All right, there is one last band that I really want to tell you all about, and that is none other than Against Me.
The very first time I've ever heard about Against Me was back in high school when I was still living in Burbank, and there was this apparel store called Red Zone that sold cooler clothing than Hot Topic. Wait a minute. Does anybody remember Red Zone? But in the store, they also had a section for flyers for local shows throughout Los Angeles, and there was a promotional flyer for the album release of New Wave, which is Against Me's fourth album at the time. Against Me can be sort of seen as a chronicling of Laura Jane Grace's transition coming out as a trans woman throughout the course of the band. And it's kind of funny how, when I first heard of this band, that it was originally through purely underground local means, because New Wave would eventually hit number 57 on the Billboard 200, Rolling Stone would rank it number 9 of their top 50 albums of 2007, and Spin Magazine would rank it as number 1 album of 2007. That is an impressive accomplishment.
Now, there are far too many Against Me songs for me to recommend to you, but I would recommend White People for Peace and True Trans Soul Rebel. There are many others that I could really just throw at you, but this would make the video way too long as it is already. Not to mention, there are multiple episodes that you're just gonna have to catch throughout the rest of the month. And if you're like really into queer and trans punk music, I'm a queer and trans punk, and I'm in a band. My band Turf Stomp is actually playing at the Mad Cat and Company Bar in Brewer, Maine tonight. You all can come watch. Entry is $10 and all proceeds are going to Maine Transnet. So basically, you get the benefit of coming to a really bitchin' show, and it goes to a good cause. So what is there to lose, really? Till next week, I'm Skylar Sakura Sabo. Bye.